What's exciting about celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Center is to look back at the roots of the organization and to see how they're blossoming now.
I ask for the help of those who are proud of this country, and I ask for the help of those who are dissatisfied, who are proud of all these things, but yet feel that we could do better, that we're not going to stand for poverty, that we're going to find jobs for every young man and every young woman who wants to work, that we're committing ourselves to that.
The Center's core value is in its ability to say the unspeakable, do the unthinkable, and take the risks that really make for social change.
Nothing ever really changes if it doesn't come from the people themselves and if it doesn't come from the bottom up.
The 60s war on poverty was a time of great hope, particularly for many of us who were young and idealistic.
The Center was set up as a living memorial to Robert Kennedy to carry out his visions and his philosophy on alleviating poverty in the United States.
And it brought together forces from the union movement, from the civil rights movement, from the anti-poverty movement, and from the churches. The guiding goal always was to give poor people themselves a chance to become the leaders and to become effective people who could negotiate from a position of equality and power.
There's so many unsung heroes, people at the local level who did extraordinary things, and one never hears of them.
Willie Velasquez, who started the first voter registration project in the Latino community.
Lupe Anguiano.
Arthur Brazier, who is in Chicago doing a lot of work on affordable housing.
Esteban Torres.
Juanita Tate.
Dick Boone ran the Field Foundation and was one of the early community action people.
Charles Bannerman.
Gail Sincata. She was a fierce advocate for justice.
And there's nothing more exciting than to see people who are normally dissed by this society emerge as leaders who know more than anybody else on the issues and who win.
One of the key concerns that grassroots groups articulated to us was the need for affordable housing.
Poor people in public housing have very few allies. It's really critical that the Center has played a role through the years in trying to help them fight displacement, demolition, and even worse housing conditions.
The 70s and the 80s, I think, in the Center's history were times of playing defense, of trying to keep the field and the vision alive against incredible onslaughts.
The advent of Reagan was not surprising, but it was a bit of a shock. His first budget involved massive cuts in social economic programs benefiting those who were the neediest in our country.
In reaction to the Reagan administration's efforts to cut government programs, the Center launched a number of national coalitions working on a variety of different issues.
There's still a Rural Coalition, still a Friends of Vista, still a Coalition on Human Needs.
But what the Center for Community Change has really brought to the forefront is not working in coalition as a means to an end, but throughout the future so that we can change the hearts and minds of the broader society.
We couldn't simply have hundreds of community organizations doing fine work in their local areas, but we had to bring them together to really fight for national policy change and national policy reform.
One of the Center's really innovative projects, the Fair Immigration Reform Movement, or FIRM, kind of sprang out of the National Campaign for Jobs and Income Support, which put immigrants' rights squarely in the anti-poverty movement and agenda.
My main concern right now is to a question to all these candidates: where do they stand on immigration reform?
People would have kind of chuckled if someone said 10 years ago that CCC would be convening a presidential forum with all the presidential candidates actually showing up.
The essence of the Heartland Forum was that the candidates got to listen to people, and that's creating a model which is contributing to work like the Campaign for Community Values.
This conversation with the Center for Community Change and the Campaign for Community Values is enabling us to see farther into the future. It's reinvigorated my own commitment to organizing, and it's definitely reinvigorated my organization.
The Center has reinvented itself on many, many occasions to meet changing times. That flexibility, that capacity to innovate has really been a hallmark of this organization throughout its life.
It's important to keep our eye on what we have to accomplish right now, but also make sure that we're building a field, we're building this as a career possibility for young people who want to change the country, because we need them.
Through our Generation Change program, the center's deeply invested in training, recruiting, mentoring a next generation of people to do this important work of community organizing and community building.
When I first got started in community organizing, the limits of my vision and my hope was we're going to get some new parks, we're going to get better protection on our streets. Each step of my journey has expanded what I can see as possible.
The center was born at a time when we had such great hopes for closing the racial divide, for bringing poor people up, and we have always stood for this tradition of poor people's leadership, engagement, participation, and we've been a beacon in these very dark times for that vision.
The reason the center is going strong on its 40th anniversary is because it stayed true to its values while always moving forward, never standing still, always reinterpreting those essential core values, its essential core mission, in a way which is relevant to the times.